Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Deskwarmers Podcast. It is your co-host, Ike.
And I'm your other co-host, Matthew.
And it's a good week. I've heard the jet applications are actually rolling out as we speak.
Let's go.
I'm really hoping a lot of our viewers are getting good news. And we've already heard in our Discord a lot of people getting their results back. I did also want to touch a little bit on the people that did get assigned as an alternate, because we did hear that was also kind of a common result this year.
Yes, Ike and famously, you are an example of a person who got an alternate.
I am the resident alternate on this podcast, and when I first heard the news, I was really devastated because I had basically my world was set. I knew I wanted to be in the JET program, knew I wanted to be an English teacher for a few years. And so that news was really hard for me to deal with. But I did continue on with my life for a few months. And I ended up that I was determined to come back next year, right? I knew that even though this year I was an alternate, I felt very strongly about applying for my second year. But before that happened, I actually got some really good news. I got a phone call from my consulate, and they basically said that I had been upgraded. And that was probably one of the happiest days of my life, I'll be honest. I was extremely stoked. I usually don't answer unknown callers, but this one from the Atlanta consulate, I saw Atlanta and answered, and they were like, "Are you still interested in the JET program?" So
like, of course.
I was like, yes, I'm very much still interested. But needless to say, there's always hope. I'm not the only alternate that's gotten upgraded. There are a lot of others that I've even met and talked to from actually the JET program. So just stay strong, and we're here for you all as well.
Yeah, definitely. Big shout out for people who got on the short list. But for our alternates, hold out hope. Be realistic, create other plans. I mean, you are still an alternate, but at the same time, hope finds a way, right? Life finds a way, as they say in Jurassic Park. I don't know. Is that relevant? Probably not. But yes, it is that time of year. So if you still haven't heard back from your consulate, I don't know. Maybe send an email because you should be hearing back soon. Anyway, congrats to everybody. We do have a guest today.
We do. One of our other friends from our city, Steven. Love to welcome you onto the podcast.
Welcome in, Steven.
How's it going, boys? Thanks for having me.
Look at this guy. Look at him.
You guys.
Look at you. Steven, one thing that I notice, it seems pretty light in your room, almost like there's a natural brightness outside. Could you tell me why that is, since we in the United States are recording at 9 p.m?
Oh, yes. Well, it is actually because it is 11 a.m. here, because I am in Japan.
Whoa!
Still with the crazy sliding doors.
That's crazy. I was about to say, Matthew, we have to get a little more creative here. We've used the light reference a lot. There's a Japanese door. There's a Japanese door behind this man.
I got a light switch with Japanese on.
That doesn't exist in America.
That's crazy.
That doesn't exist.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's like a light remote, dude. I'm just gonna sit here all day.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. That's
well.
Awesome.
It is fairly obvious, Steven. If you don't mind us asking, where are you actually located in Japan right now?
So now I am in Kitakyushu, here in Fukuoka.
Wow.
In Kyushu.
Wow.
Isn't part of Kitakyushu not even in Kyushu? Isn't part of it above?
I can answer this question. Let me
Actually, I don't know.
Let me jump on top of it. So above Kitakyushu is actually the city of Shimonoseki.
And is that in Kyushu?
No, it's not. It's on the island of Honshu.
It's in.
So is part of
right?
Kitakyushu on Honshu?
No part of Kitakyushu,
Oh.
because that would not make very much sense.
Well, that's what I always thought.
Unless you were trying to make a pun about the name of Kitakyushu being north of Kyushu.
No. It's
just
just weird, right? It's a region. It's a region, not a prefecture, right?
Are you saying because there are license plates?
Yeah, there's a lot of weird things about Kitakyushu.
That was like the first one I remember because like we lived in Kumamoto together, and I'm sure you guys saw some Kita license plates.
Yeah.
And it's like the license plates here are like in the U.S. and stuff where it's like you got it for the States, but the Kita one was the first one I saw. I'm like, is that another prefecture?
Yeah. That's the
no, it's just a city. I'm like, why are they special?
It's a hidden prefecture.
And
yeah.
I mean, Kyushu famously, right, in Japanese means nine states.
Yeah.
The 9 states.
Yeah, so there are 9 prefectures in Kyushu, I think.
I don't think so.
Is there only 8?
I don't know. I've never counted.
Let's go.
Them.
Fukuoka.
Matthew knows.
Someone let's pass it around. Fukuoka.
Okay. Kumamoto. Like your name.
Nagasaki.
Okay.
And then I will go Oita.
Saga.
Kagoshima.
Miyazaki.
Okinawa?
Yeah.
Yeah?
There's only 8. Or there's only 7. 8?
The 7?
Oh, I didn't count that last one. There's only 8, right? With Okinawa? Oh, you got 7. Dude,
I got 7. You got 7 too. Like, I'm not crazy.
My bad. I'm drinking. Guy has one big ranch.
I was gonna say you're on your ranch water, dude. Yeah.
All right, we'll revisit it anyway. We'll revisit.
We'll get back to the count.
Steven, you've graduated from the JET program because you did. Were you 3 or 4 years on the JET?
I was 3 years.
3 years, okay.
3 years, yeah.
And now, what are you doing in Japan?
So now, I am with another ALT dispatch company here in Kita. Yeah.
Wow.
So been doing that since January.
Okay. A few months. Our first non-JET program. Well, I mean, you did do the JET program, but now you're on to other things.
I guess that means you have a pretty interesting perspective after having done the JET program, which is like one route for people to come to Japan and teach English.
Yeah.
Usually it doesn't happen so that you have a person who does the JET program and then another dispatch service.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually it would probably be like one or the other, I would imagine. But I mean, I do know as well during the application period, a lot of people will apply to multiple sometimes, where it's like you don't just apply to the JET program, you also apply to some of those other bigger kind of language dispatch. But Steven, how are you enjoying that? Is it good, bad, luxurious?
I don't know if it's luxurious. It's solid. It's definitely it's different. Like as far as because like being I was a city boy. I was a city jet municipal. One whenever I was in Kumamoto. Whereas you guys are prefectural, right, in the high schools.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I'm one of the many city jets in our town that we had there. And so we were like employed, I guess, by the Board of Education for the town. So we would go like for our monthly meetings and stuff. So I would regularly see those ALTs and stuff like at least like in meetings, if not just kind of like hanging out around town or kind of doing extracurriculars and stuff.
Yeah.
Here it was just like you get in, you're hired, and I went to like I think training, but it was like just the timing and stuff where they're like, hey, we're having a training. So I got to kind of briefly meet the other ALTs, but otherwise you're just kind of on your own.
Interesting.
Are you only at one school, or are you doing multiple schools right now?
So that's another interesting thing. So in the JET program, of course, was it MSAS? Many situations.
MSAS, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. There's no other acronyms. That's the only one.
Not on this podcast.
Never heard another one in my life. You got, I guess, like in our town at least, you got your schools, and unless I guess there was another ALT coming and stuff, at least for the city jets, you wouldn't really change your schools. Here, at least in Kita in the city I'm in, the schools kind of like every couple of years, I think they shake up the ALT dispatch companies. I think there's 2 or 3 dispatch companies that kind of
Interesting.
like circle around in this city and
Ah.
stuff. So I came in and I was at 3 elementary schools for 3 months, and then the contract changed, and now it's
Yeah.
a different ALT company
Because
and stuff. So I'm at
yeah. Did they shift
Because
at
what?
like the end of their year, like where they do the normal teacher shifts and stuff?
yeah.
April
So I'm like
1st.
Yeah.
I'm just like another Japanese teacher.
Wow. Good for you.
That's
What's
really
so bad?
interesting.
Yeah, so
Um,
especially because like I don't know about you guys, like I guess I just didn't really know Japanese culture that much and stuff, like, but I just thought like it was like the U.S. where the school year starts in or is it September, like in the U.S., and we get like summer break and there's like 3 months off, and then I get here like no, we start in April.
Like, huh?
Because of the cherry blossoms, and I was like, what? No.
that part was confusing to me, not from
Right.
the aspect of like understanding like when the shift happened, but like my whole internal like yearly schedule was just thrown off.
Yeah.
Because when we arrived, it wasn't at the timing of a new year.
No.
Because especially for our year where we had COVID and stuff, we were
Mm-hmm.
like staggered delays. But even typically, you arrive in like
The COVID
August,
year.
right? And
Yeah.
when you arrive in August, though, that's the new year's already been going on for 4-ish months or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
by the time that I was there for almost a full 2 years, it was so hard for me to remember how many grades had passed.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just me, but for me, like some of my students that I was like closer with, I was like, what grade did you start in when I arrived? Like that was really
Like when you
hard for me
finish
to
the
like,
JIT program?
yeah, like from start to finish, I had a really
true.
difficult time remembering like how many like grades or like
Sure.
years,
How many
right,
classes
had
you'd
passed.
seen.
How many classes I had seen.
Because I guess
Yeah,
you
but-
get there. September is like the start of the second term, right?
True.
Like, so it's like the end
Yeah.
of like Ichigaki, the first term. So there's
Yeah.
there's a little break.
There is
I
break,
think
and
you're coming
it's
at
summer
the end.
vacation, right?
You come in at the end of summer vacation.
Here's the thing, guys. Most of the JET programs, like clientele base that they're pulling from, are college graduates. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it gets over in May, and like, you can't have them go immediately to Japan. So I think they wait until the summer vacation for all the schools, and that's why
Yeah,
they
makes
have us
sense.
start in summer vacation, because they can't start us in April because there would be no one to choose. Well, maybe there'd still be people to choose from, but like, if they want to get the college graduates, then they'd have to wait a little bit. So
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of makes a little sense, but it's weird to shift our like internal yearly clocks, like Ike, you were saying, because like for our entire lives we've been going off of whatever the school schedule was up until graduation.
And
Yeah.
the other way that my mind thought about it was I would try to remember how many different like festivals had happened. So like for like culture festival or
Come on,
sports
festival time.
festival, or my school had like a dance off, which was awesome, by the way. I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast.
No.
Every year, let me quickly get into this because this was actually my favorite event that we ever had at my school. So in high school, the second graders, so basically 11th grade in the US,
Yeah.
every single student had to be a part of a choreographed dance. And so
They like it or not.
every class, right? So there were 6 classes in my second grade, and then they would split the girls and guys. So all of the girls in one class would have to make a dance, and it was like a 3-minute choreographed dance or something. They got to choose the music, choose the choreography, like go out there, right? And so these kids take this so seriously, though. Like, this is something I had never seen before, because like you would think like, oh, a lot of people like wouldn't really be into it or would be embarrassed or something, but like it's not like that. Like everyone is like, this is a competition that we are going to win, right? And
Dedication.
so there's 12 different teams that are competing against each other, 6 teams of girls, 6 teams of boys, each one with about 20 people. And so since they have so many people, they can get really advanced, right? With their like movements, like in and out, and like the music. And so they usually won't pick one song, it'll be like a series of songs, and they'll I mean, it was crazy to watch though, because like I wasn't a judge or anything, right? There are actual judges for the competition, but just watching it was so cool because all these students like are like really just like giving their heart out. And like a month leading up to this competition, every day after school, they're like practicing.
Yeah.
They're like
You got to see the Did you get to
choreographing.
see the practices and stuff?
Well, they would just do it wherever they wanted. So some would go to the gym, some would do it like in the courtyard in our school. Like I would see kids like dancing in the courtyard, and I'm like, what is going on, right? Like,
Dude,
They do like
isn't
that.
it like
yeah.
the level
It
of
was
like is it I guess like independence or stuff that like or just like how like they'll just kind of the students here like will lead each other.
Sure.
Just kind of like that, like so, like I feel like in the U.S., like we take initiative and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But like I feel like whenever I was in high school, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna wait for the teacher to tell me what to do and stuff.
Yeah.
But they're like, yeah, like but like in Japan, it's like, no, it's after school, but like we're just kind of doing this of our own volition, and we'll just get this area and we'll practice and like so like like that stuff is like crazy. That's awesome that you get to see that.
Extracurriculars. Yeah, extracurriculars are taken really seriously comparatively.
Yeah, and
Like-
especially from a student-led perspective. It's
Yeah.
very self-sufficient. I wonder if that goes down to like the ideology of like, okay, this is our class, and like in our class or in whatever group that we do, especially if you're a student, like we need to take this seriously, and like it's all for one, right? Rather than like independence.
Yeah.
I guess, or like self-independent. Like as a group, the whole is better than the individual. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
You don't
I'm
wanna, like,
picking
let
up
down
what
the
you're putting
team.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stuff.
But
No, definitely. Sorry.
no, you're good. I was just gonna say I think you're probably right. Like just even the like self-sufficiency of like going to school by yourself, right? Because that's not something that we do in the U.S.
From first grade,
Like
from
yeah,
like
from
Yeah.
literally.
in
What's that?
like elementary school.
What's that show with the little Japanese kids who like go in My First Errand? You know what I'm
or
talking about?
something?
The
We gotta get Bethany on here.
Netflix show is called Old Enough, which isn't a direct translation of the name. In Japanese, it's like I run my first errand, and these cute little kids are like 4 years old, 3 years old, and they're like going across the street to like buy a cabbage, and
That's
it's such a
crazy.
good show. It's
Then they
so
got the
fun.
little baskets.
Yeah,
and everything's like down in
and
their
there's
level.
there's a
too,
hidden
so they
camera
can-
crew.
That's awesome. I will need to look that up.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Maybe we can send a
Dude.
link in our Discord.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
think it is very cool. But yeah, for me with like the timings of all the events, like I really thought about it of like, 2 sports festivals have passed. So that's like what year I'm on, I guess. I don't know. But that was just a unique experience that I had.
Anyway,
No, I mean,
Steven,
like, hey, yeah. That's what I'm going. Yeah.
Yeah.
no, I was just gonna ask, like, is anything different from like the school perspective, or like your job and not your priorities, but like what you have to do as a part of your job?
And real quick,
So,
Steven, before that, what
yeah.
grades are you teaching currently?
So now, so it's April here, so the school year just started. And
Yeah.
so like for the past 3 months, I was with 3rd through 6th grade in elementary school.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to be doing 1st through 6th grade,
Oh,
which is it's going to be a first for me. So we'll see. I've gone in and I've like sang songs or whatever to like first and
Yeah.
second graders, but not like a dedicated class.
yeah,
So,
you brought your
yeah.
guitar in
Um,
often, right?
yeah. Sometimes like Christmas is a big time. We wish you a Merry Christmas is always a hit. So, good to have that in the back pocket.
I know so
Not
many
literally,
ALTs do the like teaching as singing type thing, and I guess it's partly because I never had younger students, but I don't know if that's something that I could do, right? Like, I don't think that was something that I would be wired for.
Like,
It's also like high school versus elementary school, right? Like,
Yeah,
They're
I'm
both
but,
like
like,
so
I don't
nervous.
know.
Like even just playing
I
a
just-
song
Yeah.
for like
Maybe I
high
just
schoolers.
don't
I'll be
wanna
like,
sing.
Is this okay?
Yeah,
Do we like
I just don't
this?
want to sing. I
they're
guess,
disinclined
in
to
front of them.
sing, and then Ike, you can't sing except if it's some karaoke.
The
song.
Pokemon theme song.
Unraveled, yeah. Or
Unravel.
Tokyo Ghouls Unravel.
That is your karaoke song.
Dude.
Yeah,
That's
the
yours.
one time I did bring my guitar out for that English camp and like got everybody singing, it was really, really fun. But I wouldn't be able. Oh my god, I did do. Oh no. Okay, now I have my brief aside. So My agriculture school did this like culture festival, and as a part of like the English department was supposed to like have an event or something for like this big theater day, like where everyone got into the school gym and they would play movies or videos that the students directed, do dances or things like that. But the English department, we were supposed to come up with our own thing. And my my JTE that I was working with, she was like, Mashi Sensei, let's have all the students do a parody cover of a different pop song in English. So not only, and we made this as part of like the English curriculum for the year, not only did they have to like write a song in English, but they had to write a parody to an existing song, sing it, and then I had to film them and direct it and edit it all together, and then it premiered. It was crazy. And I had to do this for 4 different senior classes. And
I was gonna say, you said songs, right?
Yes, it was pulling teeth. It was like, it was so bad. Trying to get these kids to sing was terrible, except the all boys engineering course. They killed a parody cover of Do You Want to Build a Snowman? And they did all like the Elsa and Anna movements. It was so funny. Oh my gosh. So when they go all out for it, it's really funny and fun to do. But like when they're super nervous, directing that was a pain. Such a pain.
Yeah. I did pull up Matthew because we did a skit for my English club.
Yeah.
I watched that video again not too long ago. I was cringing so hard though. I was cringing so hard. We were like, Matthew was a bear and I was a frog, and we were going to some like festival or something. It was.
You gotta send that.
Oh, you made it together? You were in the skit?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in the skit together. I'm like hopping around the room. We were trying to make it funny and stuff too, but
I don't think it worked.
Our audience was like 5 kids because it was the English club, not an English club, like English camp. So it was. But
was that anyways, you went to together?
Yeah. So since we were both
so you were both there, just like.
Yeah, we had them all come up with a skit as well, but we still made one ourselves. Yeah. So.
And you propped your phone up to record it. I do remember.
Yeah,
that.
I recorded it. Yeah.
You need to send that to me.
I will. I'll share it with you, Matthew.
Thanks.
But Steven, back to you as well a little bit. I'd love to hear. Is there any like super big difference as far as like support goes between the JET program and your new program, or is it still pretty similar from a like we will help you with like housing and like setting up a bank? I know you've already set up that stuff since you've been living in Japan, but maybe it's harder for you to answer then.
I was thinking about that. Like if I was, came in with like another, like this dispatch company or another dispatch company, kind of like how would the level of support be? Because like, I already have like a bank account and a car and stuff. So from already kind of being a little situated and settled, it was pretty easy. I remember like, especially for the apartment and stuff, like getting an apartment in Japan could do a whole episode on that. I basically found like I think they'll help you find housing, I guess, for this company I'm with. But like I was actually like, can I just like look for one on my own? And they're like, sure. And I found this one here, and I actually reached out to a leasing service that helps foreigners separately.
Oh,
I was gonna ask that.
They didn't speak English, so it was weird. We'll help foreigners. I was like, okay. But yeah, they were nice. The line and everything was cool. Yeah. And I was like working with them, but then it was like something with my contract. Like I couldn't prove that I would be here long enough for them to kind of weren't giving me a contract. Mm-hmm. But then the company was just like, I'll tell you what, we can make this just company housing and stuff, and your rent will just like come out of your salary, and so you don't even have to like pay rent separately. And so I was like, yeah, let's do that. And they just talked to them and everything, and like they met me at the apartment company to like give me the keys and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, they were nice, and like like I said, we don't have like monthly meetings that I go and physically see these people, but like they send a list of like, here's who to contact, like for this, like for emergencies, for policies or contracts and stuff. Like, so that's really nice.
That's good. So it seems a little more hands off because as we know with the JET program, everything is very like pretty hands on. Like you know who to talk to. Like if you have a problem,
dude.
Like you're constantly seeing people. Either in the monthly meetings or like in Kumamoto we had the day where everybody comes together and like what do they call that? SEC?
The SDC?
Skills Development Conference.
What is it? Skills? I was like, wait, student?
That wouldn't make any sense. Maybe not.
That would not make any sense. There were no students. Yeah, Skills Development Conference. Yeah. But no, a lot of support in the JET program.
Because Steven, a little more about the rent stuff as well. Do you feel like you needed to have this leasing company? Like, were they more like a guarantor? What do you call that word? Like, were they the one helping you like make that contact, or do you think you could have done it without them?
I don't know if I could have done without them because I reached out to the leasing company and then they reached out to the apartment manager and stuff. And it was just me talking with the apartment management and stuff. I don't know if that would have, gone great, especially with my level in Japanese, let alone, the guarantor situation and stuff. But I think, I guess with the company housing, my company acts as a guarantor now. Probably the guarantor.
That would make sense. Especially since...
actually I did, because I reached out to some people and they're like, we'll be your guarantor. I was like, very surprised.
Yeah, because they deal with this all the time, I'm sure. Like for
the dispatch companies?
Yeah, the dispatch companies for other people coming in.
Yeah. I mean, I guess because I had just, I was moving from somewhere previously, so I had like found like a website and stuff to like search for apartments and stuff. So I was already searching for apartments on my own. And whenever I was starting with this company, they're like, we can like find you housing and stuff. I was like, actually, I've already been looking. I got these ones here. Would that be possible?
Yeah, they're probably like, this is great. This guy knows exactly what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Well, they're like,
that's awesome.
Well, they're like, dang, we went. I guess we're gonna have to, make another company housing place. So I don't know if there's like an empty ALT apartment or whatever somewhere in the city that I'm not inhabiting. But hey, it works for me.
Because the other thing I'm curious about, Steven, is your current program something that they would like sponsor your flight over, or is it something that you like already have to be in Japan for? I don't know if you know or not.
No, I think because I think like talking with teachers, like the ALTs like before me and stuff, like it was this is their first job in Japan and stuff. I don't know about sponsoring flights and
because I was just wondering if it was easier since you were already living there, or if it was like, we still have to like get this guy, to come to our country type thing. So
I mean, I don't know because I just started, living here and stuff. But I would think so. I would think they would probably pay for your.
I hope so.
For your flight and stuff.
If not, then that's like a big perk of the JET program to like have that capacity, I guess.
Yeah.
Expensive.
And like, did they? It definitely is. Especially, I mean, like, because I finished the JET program and I was going to start another job in Japan, but I was still entitled to like my flight home. So like, I went home in August and I visited the fam and the friend stuff, and I got the flight to the U.S. like paid for.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Because so like that that's really nice in the contract. So but yeah, I mean, I would think so because it's for work.
Okay.
That they would pay for your flight over here.
I know I'm just shooting questions at you, but I'm really curious too, because as far as like, I know the JET program did a really good job with like time off too, which I have heard is not always the case from other like dispatch companies, or I guess other like tutoring companies and stuff, because we had 20 days off each year, which we talked about in a last episode. But do you still have that same kind of perk as far as like BOQ and NENQ and stuff, or?
So I think, since I guess it's been like a little over 3 months, I haven't really taken any time off as far as that goes. I think, but
quick in the grind.
I don't know. I don't know if I really get that much time, and stuff. I think I might be allotted like 5 days and stuff.
Really?
and stuff. But I think that gets like added up. But like we get a lot of. Dude, I was actually off for a little over 3 weeks here.
Oh, really?
In between school years.
Oh, because it wouldn't be a government job, so you wouldn't have to follow the government work days.
Wow.
Interesting.
Right. So there was no desk warming.
There was no desk warming, dude. That's what I was gonna ask.
No,
that's what I was gonna ask.
I'm the non-desk warmer. Look at
that.
that.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Little caveat though, it's not paid. It's not paid. You're not coming to work. So yeah. There were actually a few kind of leading up because I guess the schools or the BOE or whatever, the Board of Education, signs the contract with the ALT company, and they are entitled to, I guess, like allotted like a certain guaranteed number of days that they will have an ALT there, a certain number of hours and stuff. So like leading up to the spring vacation, like end of the school year.
Yeah.
There was like in my schedule, like it said like the past couple weeks were it literally says unpaid time off or something. Like I'm like, okay, I get it, but it's like every day unpaid. I get it. I'm not getting it. But like leading up to it, there were work days, I guess, where I guess it's like if just in case, like they had those kind of like days like slotted in there that ALTs are supposed to be working, but like I guess I had fulfilled the contract for all my schools, so I didn't have to go in like and stuff. So I was getting paid, but I was kind of like on call. I guess if another school needed an ALT, like I guess I would go and sub, or if they're like if they have like an emergency English camp or something, I would be like called across. So I can't go up to Osaka or Tokyo or anything. I have to stay in the vicinity. But like getting
that's
paid.
so nice though.
Yeah.
Just stay at your home, right? Like I wish
Definitely.
we could have done that during those breaks. So
yeah, it's odd. So you get that kind of taste of Japanese culture, I guess, like being on the JET program, how much they value, being in person and stuff.
Yeah. Definitely.
Despite how private everybody is here. But
because I know Steven, for you as well, during your free time, you and Matthew would go to like concerts or shows or something. Is that still something you can do? Or maybe you can talk a little bit about that experience as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like to kind of do that, I guess, as part of the travel and stuff. Like definitely like to go and taking cultural things and stuff. But in the U.S. and stuff, kind of being around cities and stuff, I would love to go to shows and see bands and artists and stuff. And still really love to do that here. Living in Kyushu. Don't get so many tourists coming through.
Well,
sometimes Japanese bands come through.
Fukuoka's pretty good sometimes.
I worked a little bit in Fukuoka City before I came up here, and the last day of my work that day, I went to a show in Fukuoka City to see a Japanese band. But so I was like, oh, it is possible. They do have that here.
I know this guy Steven here, huge music nut. I think he's underplaying it a little bit.
I mean, I like the rock and roll.
You like the rock and roll? You like
yeah.
I went to maybe 3 or 4 shows with you. I have some really funny memories. Our first show that we went to together, Steven, was actually to go see Rivers Cuomo, and dude, that's crazy. What
your guy?
Full disclosure podcast. I was a really big Weezer head in high school and a little bit in college. I even had a Weezer flag. What?
I don't think it's past tense.
No, I'm actively not listening to them. I'm
Matthew,
trying to.
Who was your most played artist in 2024?
Dude, I hear you.
It wasn't Weezer, dude. It was actually oh my god, it was Hopalong.
Okay, who was it in 2023?
Billy.
Because I know the answer is Weezer.
No, it was Weezer. It was Weezer because it was Weezer like 8 years in a row, and I couldn't do it again. So I didn't listen to any Weezer in 2024. Anyway,
what's your relationship with the Hopalong?
I just found them one day, and I was.
Oh yeah, they're sick.
They are sick. Anyway, our first show that we went to together, Rivers Cuomo and what's his name?
Scott and Rivers. Is the
Scott
project.
from
What is
Alistair.
it?
Scott.
Alistair.
Yeah, the band Alistair. They had one song. They have a Japanese
Somewhere out in Fulton.
duo where they sing in Japanese, and Rivers Cuomo being the lead singer of Weezer. That kind of just makes sense for him. I don't know. And they had been like on permanent indefinite hiatus, and then one day I found on like a subreddit and a Discord, like I went down a rabbit hole and I found this link to a tweet that said, hey, Scott from Alistair and his Japanese band are going to be in Kumamoto City at like a piano bar with a special guest. And I'm like, I know exactly who the special guest is going to be. So it was like, and tickets went on sale like a couple days ago, and like the event was coming up. So I'm like, Steven, we got to go to Kumamoto City. We got to go see Rivers Cuomo. One of my favorite artists of all time.
I couldn't believe it.
It was kind of a really small venue. Everyone was sitting down.
And they were doing like 2 shows. It was like one in Tokyo, one in Kumamoto.
Yeah. Only 2 shows. Yeah. And he was Rivers was like practicing for like some Weezer concert they had in like Indonesia or something like that.
Oh, so he was practicing his like Indonesian.
Yeah, he was practicing. So
like
he got up on stage and he was speaking Indonesian, and I'm like, what is going on?
And the Japanese are just very proper. They're like, oh yes.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, such a like amazing concert. Other than
I guess you know why he came to Kumamoto, right?
I do know why he came to Kumamoto. So his wife is from Kumamoto.
Dude, yeah, there you go.
And he spent a lot of time at Kumamoto. So apparently he often goes to that piano bar, or often enough for people to like know that it's kind of a thing. And there's a whole like Discord group of like fans of Weezer who live in Kumamoto, which I did not join because I was barring myself from listening to any Weezer.
Why are you,
Matthew? Just listen to what you want to listen to.
Because I wanted to branch out.
Joy?
I wanted to branch out and listen to new stuff, and I'm like, okay, in order to do this, I have to stop listening to what I normally listen to, and I'm very glad for that because I found a lot of really cool other artists. Also, I found Super Haven, as Steven so gratefully showed to me. Although I didn't really listen to a lot of their songs, but I like their popular too.
Yeah, no, they're great.
That was a cool concert.
Love Super Heaven. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I used to work with the singer in Pennsylvania and stuff, and I was weird relationship with them. I remember I started listening to them in college. Yeah. And stuff, and then I saw them once in college. They were called Daylight at the time, and then started working at a screen printing company that did like merchandise for touring bands after I graduated college. And I think the band went on hiatus. I think I don't want to, make any declarations here, but like and he started working there. So got to know him and stuff, and they got back together, I guess, or they never broke up. But like they started touring a lot more, and I saw they were coming to Japan. I was like, I think I'll surprise them. Yeah, so got to see him, got to meet him and stuff. I actually, do you remember the band that opened for them, Hollow Suns? Yeah. I saw them last month again. Cool. Yeah, they were pretty in Yokohama. Good. Yeah, that whole show was really good, especially that before them the girl singer. I can't remember. Oh my god. And then the other ones were like I Am Protector or something was really crazy too.
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting show. There were a lot of Americans there too.
It sounds like there were a lot of opportunities though for like these type of shows, even if it was in Kyushu, right?
That's true.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but like the most interesting concert, like I got to see like my musician idol play live in a very closed off venue, and I got to meet your friends, the guy that that has this band that came to Tokyo. But the craziest concert that I went to with you was that like 12-hour punk show.
The punk show in Kumamoto.
In Kumamoto City, and it was the like craziest place I'd ever been to in my life.
Did you all stay for 12 hours?
No.
We stayed for like
Maybe 3.
2 or 3.
2 or 3? Okay.
There was a lot of feedback.
Lot of not negative
Yeah.
or positive feedback, but just like it was loud.
The sound,
That-
guitars,
like-
and stuff.
My head was shaking and like ringing because it was so loud. I had to get out of there.
And there were no breaks.
There
right?
were no breaks.
like
it was
a-
crazy. Yeah.
Was
We
it
got
like
there
a
and,
rave or something? Like,
Well, okay,
No,
so
which,
yeah, it was in this kind of smaller venue. But I mean, all the venues in Kumamoto City are small. Why do I keep saying that? It was in this basement, and imagine this room where you have a stage at the front, or I guess at the back, a very small stage, and then on the other side of the room, there's another stage set up. So it was this punk, hardcore, metal-ish show
like
festival.
mixed. There was one pop punk band.
There was one pop punk band. Thank God.
Yeah.
It would
The bass
shift.
player, like, I think his guitar broke like during the second song.
They played for exactly 15 minutes on one stage, and then as soon as they were done, everybody turned around and would watch the other stage, and then turn around.
So you come in and there was the stage and the band was playing. I was like, okay, yep, we come in. There's the stage and they play. But then they ended, and I don't think it was a stage, dude. I think it was just like the little kind of steps leading down, and like they just. I was like, oh, they just got like a drum kit back there, okay.
Yeah.
And then they end, and then the other band just starts playing. It just turns around.
It was
And it's just on the general admission floor.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, no, they were just sitting up there. And then they would just
back and forth,
back and forth.
And I saw
no
people
breaks.
with I saw real punks, like real 80s and 90s punks were there that have aged, and then
Got the railroad spikes.
and like
denim.
the fish
Or the
mohawk.
Liberty spikes.
The
I
Liberty
forgot
Spikes,
it was
like
a-
in A Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. She was walking around the club like she was a fish. Like, it was crazy.
Where do these people come from? It's
I don't
crazy,
know.
dude.
I don't know. I think they
Have
just
you ever
go all
seen-
out.
In Kumamoto, too.
Yeah.
have you
Yeah.
ever seen someone with like a pompadour? Like, you know, from anime, like just the old like thug
claw.
thing that just the thing that just like comes out of someone's forehead.
I had to have.
No?
I probably have.
I'm so
Yeah.
curious if this is a real hairstyle.
No,
right?
I watched
I
a
just-
late
I just need
80s.
to know.
I watched a late 80s Japanese movie, and there were some guys that had that hairstyle, and I'm like, oh.
But was it like a wig or something, right?
No,
Like
no, it wasn't.
It
it
looks
was
fake.
real. Wow. Yeah,
Whenever
it
you
looks
see it, like,
fake.
it's like all like moosed and like
A lot of hairstyles.
styled, yeah.
Yeah, great places to watch music in Japan. I mean, in Tokyo, you got the Tokyo Dome. I saw Taylor Swift at the Tokyo Dome. We shook it off. We shook it off. Okay. And the venue we went to in Tokyo for that Super Heaven concert was in Shimokitazawa. I believe that's where they have a lot of the that's like the music scene in Tokyo. Is Shimokitazawa. That's where Bocchi the Rock, that anime, is set.
Yeah.
And they have the bar where that fake band plays, but it's a real bar.
Really?
Interesting, yeah.
Because I remember you saying that it was based off like what is it? Like that's like from the not from the anime. The anime like the setting is from Shimokitazawa.
It's a real Shimokitazawa. Yeah, it's a real.
But I didn't know that there was an actual bar too.
Yeah. The bar is real.
It's
All
like
the
based off
locations
it.
they go to in the anime is real. It's a good show, but I prefer the real.
Dang. The real thing. Yeah. Wow. But
Completely
but yeah, no, that was
unrelated to
nice.
Japan, but
Yeah.
have either of you ever done dueling pianos? Because
No.
that's what that
Like, seen it?
the double stage thing reminds me
Yeah.
of. Because in that, it's like two people that are like set up across from each other, like both playing the piano, and they'll basically just alternate. And so it's like a non-stop thing, but you give them tips to play a song. And so usually you'll like, whichever one you like better, you'll like give them the tip, right, to like play. And then they'll play the song, and the next guy will like swap in or whatever. But that's just another cool thing. I actually think that's really fun to do in the U.S.
That is really fun.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't have much experience with concerts, so that's all I can really add.
Good.
No, but
I mean, I was
I just thought of a super missed opportunity. Like Steven, I think he went there a little more than I did, but in our town, like our small little 70,000 person town, there was like a jazz club. Do you remember that place?
Yeah.
And
Did you
and
ever go to that?
I went there for New Year's that one year.
Oh,
You remember
yeah,
that? You were there for
dude,
that?
there were two.
Were there like
Yeah.
clubs?
That was,
Like, live
oh my
music
god.
clubs? Like, I'm not really surprised, but it was just like
There was one called Jazz First or something.
Yeah,
that I
I
went
remember
to.
seeing it. I don't think I ever went in there, but I do remember.
Dude, I
seeing
went to a metal thing with freaking was it Mike? Your predecessor.
my mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bar
But-
Z? Is that what it
Bar
was?
Z.
Wait, Steven, weren't you also in
Yeah.
a band, Steven, or something? Or was that
Oh,
is that a story I'm making up?
oh.
I guess like I've kind of like been in band, like in college and stuff.
Okay.
But
No,
like,
but-
Wait, no,
But
but
most
I thought in
recent-
Japan. I thought
most
in
recently-
Japan.
with this guy up here, we have 2/3 of
Yeah.
Sarumaru.
Saudi Maru.
Sarumaru. Sarumaru.
Saudi
The old
Maru.
monkey circle.
Monkey Circle. Yes, Steven and I started a band along with our friend Aiden.
Yeah.
It was
Great singer.
it was good.
I've
Great singer.
never listened to the song. Is that on YouTube or something?
Dude, I never put it on YouTube.
No.
I have it. I can upload it at any time I want. to.
At least send it to me. You
Yeah.
need to upload it, actually. Don't just
So-
send it to me. The world needs to experience Sarumaru.
So, how did this
Thank
come
you.
about, Steven?
With the band?
Yeah.
How did it come about? I think it was like I remember like whenever you came like this new Matthew guy is like nice, he's from Kansas and he plays guitar and stuff, and I was like you like music with instruments, but, like which I'm not disparaging anyone, but like that's kind of rare I guess these days. Everybody should like what they like and stuff,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
you like guitar like rock music
Yeah.
and stuff. So we'd always kind of share that interest, on the shows and stuff together. And then I think, you were just kind of like, dude, we should just jam one day.
Mm-hmm. We
I
did.
think.
And then
But
so did
yeah.
It was
So,
3-day
Aiden
march.
also play an
That's what it
instrument,
was.
or did he just sing?
so Aiden
Who? Aiden?
Aiden
Oh.
plays a mean harp, but the only problem is you can't really find a harp.
You can't. They're not at Hard Off. There's no
They're-
harp off.
No harp
There's
off.
no-
But his singing voice is beautiful. It is
Dude.
a really good singing
Yeah.
voice.
Would I have been embarrassed at karaoke, like singing after him?
I've gone to karaoke with him. Yeah, it's
You wouldn't be embarrassed,
tough.
but he goes all out, and his like notes are like all really accurate, but like he will also go like really crazy time with it. So you might be embarrassed. Anyway, I think how the band came about, it wasn't the 3-day march. It was a random community center event, because we would have these events at the community center that were like, come see like people from other countries live in our town, so let's go see their culture. They're going to put on a performance, or they're going to do something.
that was like through the Japanese class.
Yeah. So at our local community center, these ladies, they would teach us Japanese for 100 yen every Tuesday night.
That's something we haven't talked about as well, because that's something we could dive in a little deeper.
Definitely.
For
Anyway,
a second,
Ike.
but
No. Anyway, I'm telling a story here. All right.
Jumping around.
One of those ladies was like, "Hey, I know you play guitar because you talk about that sometimes, and when we're doing our speaking practice, like we need people to like do bits of their American culture. So why don't you come do it at this community center event?" And then it turned into, oh, we don't really have time for everybody to do their own thing. So like, what if we had you guys play together? Like, okay. And I think this was around Christmas time, because we floated the idea of playing a Christmas song, and they're like, no religion, please.
Which, with like in Christmas in
And I'm
Japan, like it's like the farthest thing from
Yeah.
that. It seems like, but then just like with I was like, oh yeah, I didn't want to argue though. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
It's like, okay.
exactly.
No Christmas song. Yep. No problem.
So our first gig, it was like you and me, we played the guitar, and then Aiden was going to sing. And our first gig, I think we played Hey Jude, Country Road Take Me Home, and
Tsubasa Kudasai.
Tsubasa o Kudasai, a Japanese song, which they loved. Yeah, they love that song.
Yeah,
And they
and
love Country Road Take Me Home. They love Hey Jude. The whole thing went swimmingly.
it went well.
The only problem was we went on after the Handsome Boys. What was their name?
I think it was Handsome Boy or something, and they crushed it.
They crushed it. They were so good.
They were so good.
And,
and I think one of them was
a girl.
Well, well that, but like I think she was also one of the Japanese teachers, wasn't she, or something? And like she was like so humble, just kind of like
What did they do?
And then she was just
amazing on the piano and singing, and
the guitar player was amazing too.
And they played Country Road Take Me Home as well.
No.
I mean, how many songs are there? Really?
And like everybody
There's
loves
so
that song. That song is super popular in Japan.
So you went in back to back and had to sing it again?
But
Well, they sing in Japanese. They sang in Japanese.
We did it in English, and
Thank God.
Was pretty fun. Yeah, so it was a little different. And then we played at that same like community center a few other times.
I did a Hawaiian dance at that community center.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Japanese teacher, she really wanted like some of us to come, and she finally convinced me, showed up. I was just planning to watch. She like throws a luau on me, throws the Hawaiian dress on me, and is like, sorry, that. She throws a lei on me, and then she's like, go. And I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to. And she's like pushing and pushing. I'm like, fine, whatever. I get up there. I'm just like mimicking the people in front of me or whatever. But yeah, I did go to some of the other community events too, because those were pretty entertaining. She always wanted us to do I don't know if it was during the community event or for like maybe a weekly thing or something, but she always wanted one of us to give like a biography in Japanese, or like basically like do like a self-introduction type thing, but like in Japanese is what she was really always pushing for. And I think one of our other guys, Thomas, actually did do it.
Yeah.
But I
the speech thing?
The speech. Did you do that too?
Oh, dude, I did that too.
You did this too.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Yeah. It was good. I think I got a laugh. I remember I did like
Were you trying to get a laugh?
Yeah. What was I? I was talking about the differences, like in like American and Japanese culture and stuff.
Yeah.
And I forget what I talked about. I think it was something with shoes or something.
Taking them off.
I forget why. I'm just like instantly laughed and stuff. But like it was solid. Which also kind of like going off. I want to commend you, like, because I think this was a couple episodes ago. You were talking about this is like something that I still haven't gotten used to, backing into parking spaces in this country.
Bro,
dude,
yeah.
I understand the general rule is like the roads are narrow, so like you should probably like but at least think about backing in. But everybody does it no matter what. And the Costco example,
dude,
like
Costco...
I have thought about that myself, and I've mentioned it to Japanese people, and they crack up. They're like, why do we have this big car and we back up and like we can't like access our trunk? I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
It's so true, man. Just Matthew can attest to in our parking lot at our like apartment or whatever. I was the only one they would just pull in. I would just pull in straight every time.
The only one.
Everyone else backed in.
Dude, I got a note.
I would just zoom into the. Oh. They said you have to back in?
So I think it was it was like a line of cars in mine. I think yours was like there were 2 rows.
There were
right?
2 rows.
We had 2 rows, yeah.
And stuff. And I was like the very end, like the very first parking spot there. So I did, which I think I saw people do in the U.S. and stuff. And I'm like, this is considerate. I'm gonna park a little bit outside of the line. Like because I guess if you're looking at it, I was all the way to the right. So I'm going to park a little bit outside of the right line. So then the person next to me has even more room to back in.
Oh.
And stuff. Yeah. I'm like, I'm so considerate. I'm so nice.
Oh, because there's
like
no
on the
one
other
to your,
side.
There's no one to your side, right? Is that what
I am Ichiban Miggy, dude. I was all the way to the right. So I would park a little bit outside of the right line. Yeah, and then that would get, I was like, I think this is nice. And I'm not, hindering anyone. And so I do that. So I did that, not parking in the lines, and I pulled
Not
in.
backing
I
in.
didn't back in. I just
No.
drove right in.
Oh gosh, Steve.
And one day, this is a thing too. In Japan, like I guess if there's a rule breaker, I guess for people that don't know, if you're the rule breaker, they won't always tell you directly.
This
This
true.
is in like living, in work, and stuff like
Yeah.
so. There's a note that this. I'm sure this probably happened to you guys too, like just getting notes and stuff about reminders of rules. And so I got in there. Please make sure to park in the designated parking spot within the lines. Also, please make sure to back in your parking spot and stuff, because I guess it's like a danger or something if you're backing out.
Sure.
And,
Did they write this?
and all
It's
that.
a danger.
And then always at the end, it's no. And then always at the end, it says like this notice is being sent to all residents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not singling anyone out.
That's true.
We're not
We
singling
had-
anyone. Although there's
a
one
lot of the
person that is parking
people-
outside the lines and they are not backing in, we're not singling.
I think that happened to a lot of our friends at the
Yeah.
Leo Palace too.
Yeah.
I think Leo Palace residents got a lot of notes.
I think that Leo Palace management hated us because we would always like we would do like taco night or like bachelor night or something at either Bethany or Paige's
In those
place.
walls.
And those walls are so paper thin. And then we would leave at like 9 o'clock, sometimes 10 o'clock, and be talking in the parking lot. And you could see the flicker of lights shine from like the different windows on the other side of the building, that other building. And like people like looking out like, what are they doing?
Oh, there's always some
The
old
look.
person that like
Yeah.
opens their blinds or
Yeah.
whatever. Even I remember once we were leaving Hamazushi,
Yeah.
and
Oh.
someone's like
Oh my
someone's house was like basically against the parking lot of Hamazushi, and from the second story of the house, this lady like opened her window and was like, "You guys need to like shut up," basically.
This was so embarrassing.
She
Which,
literally
as a
opened-
Westerner, it's like, thank you for telling me directly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, which is we do try to share, but
still, that's
Steven-
embarrassing.
Steven, you're completely right though, because even at my work, because I work at like a Japanese company still in America, and my old manager too, he was super Japanese, and so he would always like not tell me directly. He would have the neck like someone that was on the same working level as me, but like someone who had been there longer, and so he would basically complain to him, and then would ask him to like tell me. So like
Oh, so you
one
were
time-
told directly, like
I was told directly just
like individually,
by someone
but not
else.
directly.
but
Yeah.
not by the person
You know-
that actually cared.
We
Like,
take what we
for
can
example,
get, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, like for example, I was bringing a bag to work. It would just like put it on the top of my desk, and the guy was like, "No, you cannot put that bag on the top of your desk. You have to like put it under your desk or something."
What?
And so instead of telling me directly,
That's the
he
rules.
tells this other guy, and then the other guy's like, "I've never heard this rule, bro, but you got to move your bag." And I'm like,
That,
okay.
that bag,
Like-
that's not.
like, yeah.
You had a bag of a rival company.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They thought I was gonna like smuggle out like blueprints or something. I don't know, but I'm like, why does it matter if it's under my desk? What's the difference?
I still have the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I actually got I didn't get a parking ticket, but I got a very angry note on my car from where I parked. So we were, like the main street where all the businesses were in our town.
Yeah.
And there was one of the yakiniku places. It was like
I remember this.
it was one of the yakiniku places, and we were going out for somebody's birthday, and I had driven. However, I did not drink at all. I was going to leave my car at the yakiniku place. I parked, and then people wanted to go to karaoke or like maybe go stop by Makoto-san's bar, something. And I wasn't going to drink. I was going to drive home, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. So we go do that. I park in the yakiniku parking. And it's like, this is yakiniku parking only. And I'm like, okay, good. I ate there. And now I'm going to go do an hour of karaoke or whatever we did. And then I get back and I have this note somewhere, but it's like,
Yeah.
attention, like in Japanese, of course. Like
Of course.
big, like, attention, you owe a 5 mon fine. Like it's like a really expensive fine. Like you can't park here. You're
Which is what,
parking
that's like
illegally.
$300.
Yeah, it's like you're parking.
It was
illegally.
the reason they caught you though is because
Yeah.
it was after the restaurant had closed.
It was after the
Because
restaurant.
by the time we got back to the car, it was like past 12 o'clock at night or something.
Yeah.
And the restaurant had like been closed basically.
And this was also
Yeah.
parking shared by an apartment building. So maybe
They're serious about the parking.
Maybe they thought I was a person who visiting the apartment building, but parking in the Yakiniku parking. And nothing came of that.
You never paid it, right? I would hope.
No, they didn't give me a place for me to pay it. They're
How are they
like,
gonna-
you owe this amount. And I'm like, to who? You didn't tell me. How am I supposed to know where to pay this? So I didn't pay it.
Pay what you owe.
And I didn't get, there was, I got
Where did you
nothing
get
else
this
done.
number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, even I won't name drop, but one of the other people we've had on the podcast, he would always park his car at like 7-Eleven and just like leave it there overnight.
Dude.
And like we would go
That's
out
dangerous.
to the drinking streets, he would just leave his car there. He never got a fine, never got towed, but there were notes on his car. Mm-hmm. And there would be a note and just be
Notes,
like, you cannot.
plural?
Oh, because let me get to that. There would be a note. He'd be like, okay, cool. And then he would just park there next week. Like,
Yeah.
literally.
Everybody parked there.
Like,
Everybody parked
yeah.
there.
And so his car would be there. He'd get a note. He'd be like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not supposed to do this. Next week he would come, park there again, and then get another note or whatever. So
I sincerely
It was
hope
like-
that our listeners have the opportunity to live in a small town like this. Not super small, but like small enough. And it's so funny.
Was
yeah.
was that
'Cause,
like wait, that was
we don't
was that
we
a
don't
Lawson?
Oh, it was a Lawson.
It was the
I think
Lawson.
you're right.
It was a
It was a
Dude,
Lawson.
I went downtown with a teacher once.
Yeah.
And a Japanese teacher, and
Yeah.
they were like, "Where should we park?" And she's like, "You know what? I'm gonna park in here." And I was like, "But we're not using this convenience." She's like, okay. I was like,
Wow.
and then I think like later, like that same ALT
Yeah. But
parked there. I was like,
I-
"Oh, okay,
I
this
would
is just a
never-
thing at this convenience."
I would never
store.
recommend while you're living in a foreign country to like disobey the laws or like do
Break
any
the
of that,
rules.
but like
No.
to break
Yeah,
the rules.
of course not.
It is quite funny, like Matthew said, like there is like such a low % chance that anything is actually gonna like come of it. And it all these things too are just like such mild like inconveniences to the people around you, right? But
Yeah.
it's
Still an
just like
inconvenience.
it's still an inconvenience, yeah.
Steven, I'd like to jump off of what you said into a little segue. I want to know how you made friends, man. How do you do it?
Oh
Wait, I'm sorry. You're okay.
your mic
What
cut
was
out
it?
for a
My
second.
mic cut out? Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're back.
You're back. You're good.
I want to know how you make friends.
Make friends.
How does one go about making friends, Steven?
It's a good question.
With
in
Japanese
so in Japan, like Japanese people. Okay. I would say I wanted to bring this up whenever Ike you were talking about, well, both of you, but
Yeah.
talking about the Japanese class, I guess,
Mhm.
and stuff, and just kind of going to local events, like. Maybe, whoever's listening to this, I don't know what designs or intentions I guess you have about who you want to make friends with and stuff. But I guess my number one piece of advice would be don't discriminate with who wants to hang out with you and be friends. Of course, obviously, if it's someone you don't want to hang out with. But if it's if you want to make friends with cool Japanese people and stuff. If you're placed in a small little Inaka place and there's just some sweet old ladies and stuff around and that's what you got, then do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang out with that, and stuff. So so that's kind of as far as that, and I had a great time hanging out with those Japanese teachers and stuff, going over to their houses. I think maybe you guys have gone over to their houses and stuff just to have great lunch, great memories and stuff. And then you meet other people through that. They take you to events and you meet other people through that. Just that, I guess, in the workplace and stuff. I would say again, just if anyone's willing to talk to you, always just give people the time of day and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a big thing here. I would say, Shanto Aisatsu, just hit them with the old Otsukare days and stuff. If you're the one who kind of does it first, and especially, I don't know what country you're coming from if you're listening to this, but American style, make eye contact, smile, because I think the standards let's go to Samadeus, stuff. If you hey, let's go to Samadeus, right? They like that. They like the kind of little Western flair sometimes.
Yeah.
Stuff. So just be friendly, be open and stuff. You don't have to try crazy hard and stuff.
Yeah, because
get people
we've all
presents
been invited to nomikais as well from our teachers,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
a big
another
thing.
good opportunity. And I think if you do really show that, oh, this is something I like want to do, or just like you are really excited for it, I think they will probably like keep inviting you. I know you did a good job of that as well, Matthew, where they would like, you would go fairly every once in a while. But
I had 3 schools as well, so there were a lot
yeah,
more Nomi
you had a
cats
few.
to go to.
But I agree, Steven. I think just being willing, because that is a really good point. Like we talked about in a previous episode, like all of the young people have moved out of our city, right? Like literally everyone our age is like gone to like university, college, or I mean, some people obviously have stayed, but usually it is like either older people or like really young people, right? And so even if older people are trying to, express interest or whatever, I think, being open to that as well.
Exactly. Because like, you never know, what kind of lives these people have had and stuff. Like, you just have like really interesting conversations and stuff. And like, I think like since I've, gotten here and stuff, got to like talk to like, many different teachers, and stuff since I've been here and stuff, like, see the students. And like, I think I went to a graduation ceremony, for the 6th graders at one of my schools. At this school, I didn't even teach the 6th graders. They were just like, "Come to the graduation ceremony." I'm like, okay.
Oh.
And did that, and like, and then you just like talk to the parents and stuff, like too. Like it's it's really cool. Also, I guess a little, and I think I've started doing a thing recently this past year, and I think if I come back to the U.S., I'm gonna bring it over here too. When I go to shows now, if you're a show goer, in between every band or every artist or whatever, I try to talk to someone new.
That's a good idea.
You're all there for the same purpose and stuff. Like you already have something in common and stuff. Yeah. So like this, I went to a show I think a couple weeks ago. Within like 5 minutes, I'm talking to like a German and like a Finnish dude and stuff.
That's
and
cool.
Like do that. Like, and again, I'm not discriminating. Like I'll talk to a foreigner or like a Japanese person and stuff. But like that's always so fun and stuff. So. Yeah, don't be afraid to, and I think as kind of, was it Mari, past guest?
Yeah.
Is that on there?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to make the first move. And the Gentle Sets is always a good place to start.
Very, very good advice. Well, Mari also said that you Stevenized the school.
I think you said which I didn't know whenever she was, so, like, you Stevenized the school? I don't know. But
we did talk about
we went over that.
You had a lot of
the Kenny
the mannerisms or just the ways of speaking that really made people feel more comfortable, I guess, as well.
Yeah, and actually, this is something too. If I don't know if I'd recommend this if you're in elementary school and stuff, but like in one of my junior high schools, I had been there for I think it was going my 2nd or 3rd year, and like they're like, hey, do you want to do like, I think you guys have covered this on the podcast before. You come in, you do your Jiko Shokai, your little PowerPoint, kind of introduce yourself and your culture, and stuff, like where you're from. And they're like, you want to do a Jiko Shokai again? I'm like, I know these kids, like they know me. And they're like, yeah, but just kind of bring in a year, like start things. So I was like, okay. And so I think I did like a little bit, like took out some slides. But at the end, I was like, hey, so that's about me, but like, I want to talk to you guys. Like, I want to get to know you. And so like, we're in English class now. Let's speak English while we're here. And I had a few slides dedicated to this. I was like, let's, speak English while we're here. Let's try our best. I was like, but outside of class, like we could speak English. We could speak Japanese. We could speak Nipponglish. And then, what's Nipponglish? And I'm like, hello? Konnichiwa. Konnichi, hello. And they're like, huh. I was like, sorry. Gomenasai. Gomenasari. And they're like, huh. And I was like, yeah. I was like, whatever you want. Let's just communicate. Let's have fun. They're like, okay. Some of them were like maybe too.
Did you have slides? Did you have slides with that on it?
So I had like, because I think I like Googled like crazy. I found Konichi, what's up? And I was like, okay, I'll take that one. I was like, I don't know if they can read this anyway. But like, But I was like, English, Japanese. And then like, and then I had like, I think like a SpongeBob gif like going like, the G is like communication, like with the rainbow.
Instead of imagination. Yeah.
Communication, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, imagination. That was that episode. But yeah, so as far as that goes. But yeah, so just being open. I thought that was, something as far if you want to kind of work that into the Jico show guy, just be like, I want to talk to you guys instead of just be like, this is me and this is my house and I like these sports. Like, it's always good to kind of like bring it back to the students.
We could do a whole freaking episode about spicing up the Jico show guy.
Very good.
It's definitely important to ask them too. So
put your best foot forward. Yeah, a great first impression, right?
Bro, I kind of have PTSD from Jico Shokais though because you do them so often. Like every new year, you have to do as many classes as you're in. So it's even worse with people with multiple schools. Because even for me with just the one school, if I'm teaching, high school, and so there's 3 grades, each one has 6 classes, I'm doing like 18 Jico Shokais, right? Just one trimester. And then the next trimester, I swap to middle school, and then I have another 18 Jico Shokais. So it's like every 4 months or so, every 5 months, you're doing another Jico Shokai.
That's crazy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's
whenever, dude, yeah. Oh my God. Whenever I got to our town there during good old Rona, the COVID times there, they were kind of like bringing people in slightly, and I was part of the New York group. I was the second group in, but I was just like the second ALT. So there was, I think, one guy was on his 3rd year. There was past guest on that was there already. So I was the 3rd ALT, and I just went on tour of the schools. For 2 weeks, I went to a different school every day and just did Jico Shokai. So I just got like my tight like 5 in. I was like a stand-up comedian, just kind of like I was like, okay, like tweak this part and stuff.
Yeah. You can definitely adapt it on the fly, but yeah.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, I have a couple different like PowerPoints ready to go. But I gotta ask you guys, like, so whenever you do your Jico Shokais, do they have question time after?
So yes,
in high
school? I would.
How was that with high school students?
I was asked a range of different things, from like, what is my favorite?
Well, they asked you questions though.
Yeah, like what's your favorite food? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I like this, and this. What's your favorite Japanese food? To like, what's your type?
Yep.
Yeah.
Got that.
I would get a lot of questions, and the funniest part too is for me, I had the entire like 50-minute class that I could do whatever I want, but I would leave like the last 15 minutes. I'd make every group, I'd put them in groups of 4 and make every group ask me a question out loud. That's what I did.
Oh, nice.
And so I basically said, you as a group, I would first give them like 5 minutes to write down 2 questions each. And then after that, I was like, okay, you guys as a group pick a question. And I'd be walking around the room, like looking to see, what the questions were. And like Matthew said, the questions, once you've been to probably like 2 to 3 classes, you've heard them all because they do really repeat. A lot of the more common questions I try to get very quickly out of the way during my presentation, just so I can try to get them to have something a little newer. So like I will very explicitly, I think for my Jico Shokai, I did like 2 truths and a lie is what I did. And so cool. I would do like, here are the foods I like. And then of course one food I'm like, I do not like this food or something. Right. So it's like, I would try to like get all that out of the way before the actual presentation, like sports, food, colors. Like I'd always get like, what's your birthday? And then none of the kids would remember. That always made me a little sad, but but yeah, I'd always get the like, what is your type question? Or I mean, every once in a while you get an interesting question.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Just have to be prepared for like those basic ones, especially.
Yeah, I mean, I just like want to ask because like I've noticed like as they get older, kind of they're like maybe like they're it's maybe a little more shy and stuff as far as that goes. So if I'm doing like to 3rd or 4th graders, like in elementary school, like it's just they just want to know. They just have so many questions.
Like sensei,
but I think I remember.
Yeah, that's one.
And stuff, yeah.
Or exactly. A lot of times they'll try to ask me like, "Are you married?" or something. It's like a question I got too. But
or like how old are you? Which because like the age is like such a thing here and stuff. Like, if you ever little aside here. Do you guys ever, if you ever watch Japanese TV, they'll just like it'll just be completely irrelevant, but they're just like, yeah, here's this guy, this chef here that's gonna introduce us this food. He's 29, and
Yeah.
like, why is his age?
That's true.
Next
And
to his name?
then like the thing with like blood types as well.
Yeah.
I had people ask me what my blood type was all the time.
Height was a big thing too. They would ask me.
Yeah.
They would always say, "What is your height in like centimeters
Senchi.
or whatever?" You know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but like, I'm like thinking like, if I ever asked the teacher like how old they were in the U.S., like, I feel like that's like. I feel like that's kind of like overstepping because like I don't mind. I don't even do the. Do you guys ever do whenever everyone asks you your age, or you're just kind of like, how old do you think I am?
Yeah.
Are you guys like one of the, are you guys like those people? Okay, I just like immediately say, I'm just like I'm 33, and then just like I just like take all the fun out of it.
Yeah, I like hearing people guess first.
You like the guessing
Because we
I
look
like the
older
guessing.
with our
Fair enough.
beards.
dude. Yeah, you guys.
When I arrived to Japan, I had no beard and the
You completely-
different
yeah, it changed you,
hairstyle.
dude.
I looked like a little child, so
Yeah.
you know it is what it is.
It's like
But
Did you have shorter hair whenever you came, dude?
I had the Bieber cut. I had the little like down.
You had the
over
swoop.
forward.
the swoop.
Yeah, the swoop. Yeah.
Yeah. Dang. Oh my god.
But
Yeah, that's great.
um,
Yeah.
we are running out of time, Steven. Is there any shout outs or is there something else,
wow.
Matthew?
No,
Was there another question?
No, I just feel bad because like I like spending time with Steven and I like talking to him. And I'm just sad that
We
time
can
is almost
talk.
over. No, but we have to keep a consistent episode timer. You know?
Oh yeah, no,
Okay,
of course. I mean, like just like others like outside of the podcast. Like,
Oh yeah, I mean I could call you whenever I want actually.
Yeah, I'm around. But yeah.
Sure.
Let's see. Any kind of last.
Just closing statements, you know, anything
Closing.
great?
We know
Any
we know you did desk work,
Anyway.
so
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Should we do I guess that
yeah.
thing
Go for
and
it.
stuff?
you don't desk
Just-
warm, but
let's-
I guess you did.
Well, in the JET program, I'm sure he did.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I did do a little bit of desk warming there, but like I don't know if I'm just like yeah, I mean there were definitely some days where I'm just kind of like bored and stuff, but like I feel like I was always like nervous and stuff, just like should I like be like making an English board or like should I like ask that teacher if they need help and stuff. So like I was either do that or just like checking emails sometimes, like maybe
Sure.
like looking for trips and stuff to go on there. The standard,
Yeah,
not really.
The more
anything
things
crazy,
you
just kinda-
do, the faster the day goes, right?
Yeah, or like another thing, I guess if you want to make the teachers uncomfortable that you work with, if they're talking, especially if you don't understand Japanese, I just like watch them like a tennis match. Yeah, like it's just like while they're talking, and I'll just kind of like really like lean in,
Yeah.
Oh,
and then like sometimes they're just like, "Hey, Steven, how you doing?" Like they'll just pull me in the conversation
That's
and
fun.
stuff. But yeah, I guess as far as closing advice, I don't know. Yeah, just be open and stuff. Like yeah, and don't be afraid to like go first. I guess like kind of Mari said, and stuff.
Go
Yeah.
first.
At least just say hello. Say hello to your students a lot. Don't just kind of walk by like always. Yeah, just like say hello to the kids and stuff. And let's go to someone else. Oh my god, I can't speak Japanese anymore. To the
You fixed it.
This is gonna be bad for Monday, bad for tomorrow. To the teachers and stuff, and just be open and I think it'll get reciprocated on you. So yeah.
Good.
awesome.
Yeah, good
Definitely.
words.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Well, Matthew, do you have
Appreciate it.
any
Thanks, boys.
closing shout outs for our channel?
Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell. Follow us
Join our
on
Discord.
follow us on Spotify or Apple Music if you want to. Of course, you don't have to, but it would make us really excited and happy if you did. And
It'd be really nice if you
we
gave
hit
us a little
60
follow.
subscribers. 60 subscribers on YouTube.
There you go.
So the
60
weird
subs.
thing is,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Our Discord has like the same number of subscribers, so I feel like even if you're in our Discord already, make sure that you're subscribed.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Helps us out a lot.
So,
Anyway, other than that, Steven, pleasure to have you on.
Thanks, boys. Always, happy to keep it warm with you.
Yeah.
Fun as always.
Is that
I like that. Happy to keep it warm. Happy to keep the desk warm.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, with the warm boys.
Okay, well,
I don't know about that one. Okay, hey,
Anyway,
throw a lot
see
of
you
the
later. Sayonara. Goodbye.
Peace.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. I'll suck me. Bye-bye.